Vanessa Pereira. I'm a self-leadership speaker and coach, and today I'm going to share with you my own personal journey of how I've had to redefine success and leadership for myself, what it really means to discover my purpose, and also what embodiment means when it comes to true inner transformation. And these are just three topics that I'm going to touch on today. So let's get started with leadership and success. We grow up in our life straight from childhood. You go to school and you're told that you need to study, get good grades, because getting good grades means that you are better, and that's going to get you into a better school, and then that's going to get you into a better university. And now you have to pick a path that you have to figure out what your career is, and you have to pick one thing and go after that one thing. And that's, for a lot of us, that's the trajectory that we had to follow. And so I followed that trajectory, and I got into business, and I didn't really like it, but I got into it because I didn't know what else I was meant to do here on earth. I really didn't know, and I didn't have a passion for anything. So I just went into business, and I went down the path of climbing the corporate ladder. And I didn't want to climb the corporate ladder. Very quickly I realized I don't want to climb the ladder. I just want to do good work, and I want to feel good doing it. And after 15 years of being in corporate and just bouncing around companies trying to find the right fit, in trying to feel successful, I was successful on paper, very successful on paper, but I didn't feel it on the inside. And for years, I kind of struggled with that because, if you think about a string, and we're all going from this point A to point B, and that's what we're told, you keep sort of climbing the ladder, and you'll reach these milestones, and you check off the milestones, and you're supposed to feel happy and fulfilled with your life. And I was checking off all these milestones, but I was not feeling happy on the inside. I was feeling so empty. I think empty is the only word I could use to describe it. And I would wake up every day, and it was a great life on paper, but again on the inside it was just sort of chaos. And that's when I had to sort of stop and ask myself, why am I here? What does my existence mean? What am I meant to do for the rest of my life? Because I can't be doing this. This is not making me happy. So what is it? And that's what led me down the path of self-discovery. And self-discovery is a beautiful journey of really, it's all self-explanatory in the word. Self-discovery is discovering yourself all over again now as an adult. We have all these beliefs and all these thought patterns that are conditioned from our childhood and from society, and things that people say that you need to be this, you need to do this, or if you don't do this, then you don't have that. We have beliefs about so many things, and that's really what shapes us and forms us into how we take action in our life. And so my self-discovery journey was a lot about having to dismantle all those beliefs and really look at, why do I believe this thing? Why do I believe that success can only be reached if you do X, Y, Z? So I started to redefine my definition of success. And it's so simple. You just start to write down what you actually think and feel is what you define as success, and you look for evidence around your life that you already have that with you. And then you start to redefine what leadership really means to you. We are taught to believe that leadership is about a specific title. Leadership is about the position you have at the company. But that is not what leadership is. That is a traditional definition of leadership. True conscious leadership is how you lead yourself no matter what is happening in your life. It is not exclusive to your career. So when there's chaos that's happening somewhere else, or something comes into your life to disrupt it, how do you lead yourself through that moment? That to me is what embodied leadership is, and it comes from inside of you. Leadership is about, how do I handle things that are happening no matter what area of my life. And how do I tap into myself instead of looking for what's outside of me? How can I use what is already within me to stay grounded and to really own my life? And it doesn't matter what's happening around you, that you know that you have this self-trust and this knowing within yourself that, hey, no matter what happens, I can handle it, I can deal with it. It doesn't mean your life is going to be all roses. It means that whatever happens, I know I've got me. And to me, that is what true leadership is. And when it comes to, the corporate world, I've always been an individual contributor role. I didn't have the traditional titles of manager or leading teams or anything like that. And that to me is not what leadership is, because when we define leadership in that very in the box kind of thinking, then we start to diminish all of the areas where actually you are embodying your own leadership, because the leader is inside of you. It's not anything outside of you. If you want to take away the title, then who are you? If you think that is what leadership is, you can take away the title, take away the job, take away the money. And when you start to strip out all of those things, who am I at the end of the day, if I have these things or if I don't have these things? And that's what I had to start to ask myself. Who am I without all these external things? Who am I without a relationship? Who am I if I do have a relationship? Who am I without children? Who am I if I do have children? Who am I with this job? Who am I if I don't have a job, or if I lose my job? Who am I? How do I describe myself? And that's what gets us down the path of this self-discovery. And then we start to tap into purpose. And yet again, we have this misconception that purpose is something outside of us. Purpose is something that's my job. Purpose is what I do. It's what company I'm working for. It's me saving the world. That's my purpose. It's me doing good for others. That is not what purpose is. And I've had to discover this for myself. Purpose is who I am. So it doesn't matter where I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing, who I'm with. I am the purpose. It is the gifts that make me uniquely Vanessa. It is the gifts that make you uniquely who you are. That is your purpose. And all of us that are brought into this world are like perfect puzzle pieces that fit. So we walk around. When you walk around knowing that I am meant to be here wherever I am, and that is my purpose. You're born with purpose and you're here on purpose. And the last thing I want to touch on is about embodiment. What does embodiment mean? We can want change, we can desire for change, we can do all the things that say, I want a good life, and I want this, and I want to be happy, and I want peace, and I want freedom, and I want to be successful. And we throw all these words around. But until we start to define what those mean for us specifically, for me specifically, then we go into the path of, okay, so now I have the definition. Now, how do I practice it in my daily life? We can want change and desire change, but if you're not practicing it daily, then are you actually changing? How does true transformation begin if I'm not willing to be the change that I desire? And so I've had to learn as well that transformation is not some big red carpet, fancy destination to reach. Transformation is found in the micro shifts that you take every day. So maybe today, if we had a conversation and I didn't say what I really wanted to say, I didn't speak my truth, but then tomorrow I get another opportunity with someone else, and I've chosen to take that opportunity and have a difficult conversation or say something that I've been holding inside, and maybe it's difficult, but I say it anyway. That's a micro shift, and that is part of transformation. And then we do those micro shifts 1% every day, and we continue to do this over and over, and then automatically you will notice yourself shifting from the inside out. You will just notice that things around you in your life are shifting. People are talking to you that never spoke to you before. People are falling off that maybe you were friends with before, but now they don't align with your new evolved self. Newness will come in, other things will fall off, and that is the beauty of transformation. You will start to see things in your life that you have never seen before, and witness miracles in your life that you've never witnessed before. And I have experienced this in my own life, and to me, that is what embodiment means. Knowledge is nothing, knowledge is not powerful. What's powerful is when we take the knowledge and we actually apply it, and we do something with it, and we practice it daily. And it's not about doing more, it's about releasing judgment on myself and releasing judgment on others. What does forgiveness truly mean? How can we love at a deeper level? How can I see myself as worthy no matter what I have in my life, and no matter who is there in my life? How do I open up and expand my awareness of self? Those are the three that I wanted to touch on. How do we redefine leadership and success individually for ourselves? How do you practice embodiment and practice it daily in your life? And how do you go on the path of self-discovery, which is a never-ending journey? There is no end to it, but it's a beautiful journey where we continue to discover and live in our purpose. We don't have to find it. It is already here. It is already inside of us, and it is definitely inside of you. Thank you.